Hi everyone, it's Kristen. So we just talked about this one, and now we're going to talk about this one. And so I loved the new because this is a new artist now instead of David Marquez. I can't pronounce his name, but there's his name right there. And I love that I don't know how many people caught this, but I love that he put a little nod to himself in here. So, I mean, I guess if I was the artist on this series, I would too. I'd be like, why not? So all the X-Men teams all over, the world are watching this broadcast. So you have Kitty and her team in Chicago, and of course the Uncanny X-Men in New Orleans, and the other team in New York, and then of course Cyclops' team in Alaska, and they're all talking about this movie, Murder Me, Mutina. And Cyclops is like, I think this is going to be very bad, like for all of us. See, and here's his name again. It's bigger. And like I said, I'll show you the little nod he did to himself in here. Okay, so I'm going to be honest. They're, talking to a bunch of people about this movie, and Blade is like, I don't like it. Mutants aren't monsters. And Elsa's like, well, when it comes to, Elsa Bloodstone, she's like, well, when it comes to monsters, we can never be too careful. And Damien Hellstorm is like, I hope it's just better than the last, the, I hope it's better than the director's last magnum opus, like his last movie. And Magic's like, you have 3 seconds to get that microphone out of my face, all right? Three, two, and it says under her, a local concerned citizen. I don't know why they thought she was a local citizen with, her dress like that. Anyway, and then we have Robert Cargill. I'm assuming he has something to do with horror. I am not a horror fan, like at all. Mostly because I don't like horror movies because they scare me. I'm not gonna lie. And the fact that, I get nightmares and I live alone. So I'm like, I'm not about to watch a scary movie um by myself and then have to go to bed like all alone. I'm like, no, no, thank you. And then have nightmares about it. And the thing about me is I remember every single one of my dreams and nightmares. Like I wake up and I remember them. Like I've had dreams where I've died. I've had dreams where I've fallen and I've died. I've had dreams where I'm over my dead body, like my spirit is like hovering there. Most of my dreams involve people trying to kill me. Some dreams I have superpowers, which is awesome, even though people are trying to kill me. A lot of times I don't have superpowers and people are trying to kill me, and then they end up killing me. So that sucks. But like I said, I remember every one of my dreams. So I no, I'm not about to go there. Like I have a very vivid imagination and I don't need any help in that department. So I remember one time, okay, quick story, when I was super little and first, well, not super little. I think I was like 10. And for some reason, my parents left me alone, but of course, it was a, different time, just, not even that many years ago. And they left me alone. I don't know where everyone was, but I guess my brother and sister were spending the night at someone's house. My parents left me alone for like maybe I was 11. Anyway, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. Can't remember exactly. I was watching something on TV in their bedroom because they had the only TV at the time, and it was just in their bedroom. So I was sitting in the chair watching this, and it's not even a super scary thing, but it was like Ghost Hunters. I don't know if anyone of you remembers that show, but they were talking. They were in this at this abandoned insane asylum, and they were talking, trying to see if they could get ghosts to talk. And all of a sudden, you hear this little girl's voice go, "Hello," and then laugh like, And I was like, oh my gosh. And all of a sudden, I kid you not, one of those blinds that you have the thing where you pull on the cord to, open it and close it. It started, I kid you not, creeping up all by itself, very slowly. And I was like having a major panic attack. I was like, holy cow. And I turned it off. I ran out of the room. I turned on all the lights. And I like hid kind of in the on under the covers until my parents got home. Like that just like I said, that kind of scarred me. I was like, I wasn't even watching anything like I said, super scary, but it was kind of, that tone of being scary. And then for that to happen, like I kid you not, I look over and there was like slowly creeping up by itself. I have no idea. Like I was not imagining things. Anyway, so sorry, I made that long story long. I don't do horror. Not a fan. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just not a fan. So I'm assuming Robert Cargill probably it's a screenwriter. He probably writes horror movies, I would assume. And he says a mutant is a lot more likely to be a victim of violence than the perpetrator. Seems like punching down, really. So of course there's, ever since Kuro- Krakoa, there's been this like anti-mutant sentiment, and it's kind of like in hostility. So this movie about a serial killer mutant, basically, a slasher film, where the main character is a mutant, is not doing the mutants any favors, basically. And then Nancy Collins, a novelist, it says it's typical Hollywood stigmatizing the powerless. Well, unless they have powers, which a lot do. Never mind. I'm assuming also a horror writer. Like I said, you guys feel free to clue me in because I don't like horror, don't follow horror, so I honestly don't know who those people are. And then Emily, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I actually do know who she is. She wrote Why Winona Earp on Sci-Fi. Like I never saw it because I don't have that channel, or I didn't have that channel. I should probably see if it's streaming somewhere because it actually looked and sounded really interesting. But that's the only reason I know her is from that show. So she says, "Look, I'm worried about the response too, but horror should be transgressive. It's supposed to take risk." So kind of one of those answers that, well, it kind of sounds like, well, I guess it's okay because, horror is horror. I mean, they made that Winnie the Pooh horror movie, which like I really honestly thought was a joke, but apparently it was actually like an actual movie, you know, fill me in if I'm wrong, but I could have sworn, yeah, that I remembered seeing something about that and thinking, well, that's really weird. I don't know if anyone saw that. Like, how was that? Was that totally weird? Anyway, let's see. And then this guy, Joe Hill, oh, well, best-selling novelist, but I know him from the comic book series Lock and Key. Again, didn't read it. Nothing against him, but it sounded just a little bit too intense for me. So I'm like, nope, that's okay. And he says horror has always targeted the most defenseless in society. Maybe it's time they fought back. Ooh, interesting. So here they are. They're all sitting like in the living room, talking about this movie and how, it's not good. And they're talking about maybe they should impose a curfew for the kids just for now because until this whole thing dies down. And they're like, "Wait, but where are the kids?" And like here's Gambit looking super super casual. He even has a hole in his shirt. And Marcus, of course, is not happy. He's like, I don't want my daughter Chelsea growing up in this kind of environment and in this world. Because, of course, Chelsea is a mutant, we found out. And so they're all there to see this movie. And, apparently it's been sold out everywhere. So Ransom was like, how did you get tickets? Jitter was like, I just hacked, the movie theater system. And I'm with Deathdream here. He's like, we should go see the cartoon about the otters. It has songs and a funny lobster. I'm like, yes, Deathdream, let's go see that movie. Let's go see that movie instead of this horror movie. Oh, and I want to point out that Ember, or I mean Calico, has a little, almost a like My Little Pony version of Ember on her shirt, which I think is cute. Is a cute nod to Ember, since I don't think we see her, like actually see her in this issue. I could be wrong. Anyway, we'll see. Um, like I said, I read it so fast, I devoured it because I heard so much about this comic that I was just like, oh my gosh, what happens? So anyway, Becca is like, I'm scared. This is horrible. Why did I agree to this? And Jitter's like, it's only been 10 minutes. And Deathream is still thinking, I is still saying like, I keep thinking about the cartoon lobster. It should be, we should have gone to see that. And then there you go, Murder Me, Mutina. And then here's the movie scene where this girl is talking on the phone to her dad. She's, apparently in the pool by herself, alone, because the janitor gave her the keys. And Mutina is like, do you remember that girl, that little freak girl that you and your friends tormented last year? You put fake nudes, on the school website telling the cops that she made a bomb. I heard she had a breakdown and they sent her away. And she's like, well, I'm back. And so her dad's outside waiting for her, and he's like, oh, she's gonna be late to her own funeral. And he walks in and sees that. And Becca is hiding her face under the popcorn bucket. Oh, and Death Dream got like 8 cinnamon pretzels because ever since that one issue where they went to the mall and had cinnamon pretzels, he decides he loves them. And he's sleeping. Like he's like, oh, this is boring. This is no big deal because of course he deals with death like all the time, every day. And here's the otter movie, Otter Party. Look how cute that is. The otters and the lobster. Yeah, I would rather see that. Just saying. So now they're all going out, going somewhere out to eat. And they're talking about, the movie. And Jitter's like, I normally like scary movies, but this one made me feel bad for a different reason because, do people really see us like that? Like we're monsters? I mean, are we monsters? And that's Becca asking, and Jitter's like, I don't know, maybe, like I don't know what's happening. Why do I feel like crying? And Death like, no, that's how they get to us. That's how they ruin us. Like they're calling us monsters and making us out to be what we're not. And so we can't let them win by letting us, or we can't let them win by thinking what they want us to think, by thinking we're these terrible, terrible people. So, by doing so, they'll break our spirit. And so um Ransom's like, I don't know who hurt you this bad, but look, here's, and he gives him a hug. And Death like, is this a hug? I don't think I like hugs. I will say I'm not like a super touchy-feely person either, so I kind of get it. But at the same time, I feel like everyone needs a hug every now and then for sure. So, I don't know. And then we have these bullies that come in and they're calling them because they heard them talking behind them when they were sitting behind them, and they're calling them beauties and stuff and being really mean and calling them derogatory names. And Death Dream says, your dad says hello. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, my dad's dead. And Death Dream's like, he also said he always knew you'd turn out like this. And he's like, Carson, leave them kids alone, boy. I ain't too dead to tame your hide, son. Now get. So there we go. There's the dad. And I mean, he's there and he's talking. That's freaky. And Becca's like, holy cow, maybe we are monsters. Oh, so we do see Ember. So Jitter now switches to her point of view, and she's like, I know it was just a movie, but Deathdream is right. This is how they ruin us. They portray us to be these monsters, and then everyone starts to believe it. And she's like, I know we're in a lecture from Rogue. I know it. And so we have, um, well, they're calling him Waffles. That's what Deathdream is calling him. And he's like, it's just us, Waffles. It's just us. And he's like, I'm trying to be moody and somber, but it's hard to be moody and somber when an animal is so excited to see you. And like Jitter says, he's wagging his tail so hard that's not there anymore, which makes it really sad. It's both adorable and sad. So she said she was right about the lecture, but it was pretty short. And I know it's because she loves us. And Rogue is, yeah, like, we just want you to be safe, okay? And she's like, we're not ready to say it yet, but we all feel it. We love her too. And she's like, so how was the movie? And she's like, well, honestly, it sucked. So then we have Jitter, who's in her bedroom, and then all of a sudden she wakes up and there's Calico, and Calico she was just scared, so she came in, Jitter's room. And Jitter already has all these names for her, like she calls her ballerina, because that one time, then when they were talking, she's like, I always wanted to be a ballerina. And they danced together, and she also called her Pumpkin in this. So just she had a bunch of cute little nicknames for her. So apparently, yeah, the Waffles and Ember walked them to school. I forgot about that. So it's pretty cute. So she has this written on her locker, Jitter, and she's like, "Oh, that sucks." And so this boy, he's like, "I'm sorry." Um, and he actually brought stuff to clean it off of her locker. I don't feel like he did it. Because he's like, whoever did this was a massive tool, okay? Like, I just brought stuff, to clean it for you. Like, he's being nice. And he's like, when I had was a kid, I had a stutter way worse than yours. I'm sorry. Which this part I don't get. I think obviously it was for dramatic effect. And, you know, um, I guess because, at some point he did bully them and now he feels bad. And so Becca's like, oh, you're sorry? You're sorry? And she shows up like this, and Jitter's like, that was sweet of her, but and this is like the funniest panel of the whole thing. Gambit, he's, lecturing, or okay, let me read it for you. It's funny. That kid says you would just fooling about, lucky little ones. I'm mad, real, real mad. See how mad I am? Now, who want ice cream? So, like, I feel like that's exactly the kind of dad Gambit would be. Like, he's disappointed in you, but he still loves you. So they got suspended for 3 days with ice cream. Okay, so this is the artist nod to himself. Do you see this Dazzler poster that's on the wall? Well, this was his variant cover to the Dazzler miniseries number 4. See, do you recognize it? Like I said, he put that little nod to himself in the first issue that he was doing of Uncanny. So I thought that was really fun. I thought that was as cute that he did that. And like I said, if I was the artist, I would do the same thing. To kind of like make your mark. So let's see if I can put them up next to each other. So there you go. See? Anyway, like I said, I just thought that was a cute thing that he did, that he put those two like that together. There. I'm sorry. I don't know why all of a sudden my camera went blurry like that. So anyway, um Jitter's sneaking out of the house, and basically because she found out, um she said, all those mutant kids out there, who don't have any ice cream, don't have anyone who loves them for what they are, ruined. The actress who plays Mutina is doing a press conference in the city. Ice cream or not, I'm going to have my say. So she and Ember and Calico go and meet this actress. And the actress is in her dressing room getting ready. And she's like, you might as well come out. You can't hide from me in shadow. It's kind of my thing. And so basically she confronts the girls and they confront her. Like they found her account that she tried to be anonymous, but they know it's her. Like she's saying all these hateful things about mutants. Like it's us or them. Do you understand? They say, muties say they never encourage violence against them. They love being victims. So she's saying they actually encourage violence because they can play the victim. And they want all of us to be mutants, chemicals in the water, literally worshiping the devil, etc., etc., etc. Um, she's like a normie who hates mutants. You're half right, sweet stuff. So I feel like she herself is a mutant who hates mutants because I feel like when Jitter mentioned that all those mutant kids out there who don't have anyone to get them ice cream, who don't have ice cream, who don't have anyone to love them, I feel like she was one of those mutants growing up that didn't have anyone that loved her for who she is. And that's why she hates mutants. And that's why she hates herself and she just wants all mutants to suffer because she suffered, which is very twisted, but that's my theory anyway. I feel like it's pretty close. I feel like it's pretty spot on. So her name is Led Lecia. I probably said that wrong. Let Leticia, like I said, Leticia. Anyway, yeah, like I said, you know me, I'm horrible with pronunciations. And she's, coming after them. They're dodging her, and she's like, say it, say it. Say, murder me, Mutina. And she's like, I could kill you both right now, and nobody would convict me. You're trespassing. Like, I could say you guys threatened me, and then she's like, say it and I'll let you live. Say what? Murder me, Mutina. And and then Wolverine comes in and he says, I don't think so. And she's all mad, like, you think you can stop me? You can't stop me, I live in every shadow, freak. Yeah, about that. So I feel like Dazzler would also be appropriate here since she lives in shadow. And I feel like this will be one of the most cosplayed costumes like for the rest of this year, like every Comic-Con from this point forward and Halloween. Because I mean it is a cool, fun costume and it's kind of a play on anime characters. So I feel like it's gonna be super popular. So anyway, and Calico's like, how did you know that we were here? How did you know we were in trouble? And Gambit's like, the eye told me. You're safe. We're here. And Jitter's like, she hates us. I can feel it. But she hates herself more. Oh, see? See? So she also asks Jitter, how was the ice cream? So it also seems like she can read minds or she has some kind of like omnipresence thing going on. Like I said, she says she lives in every shadow. So I feel like she can be anywhere, in shadows, learning and listening. And she's like, have your little country fair. It won't matter. The world still agrees with me. And guess what? They've already greenlit a sequel. And she said, this isn't over, Short King. That's pretty funny. You've never faced anything like me. I'm going to be everywhere. Like I said, exist in every shadow. And he said, maybe, but come near these kids again. I'll show you a slasher story. I think that was a pretty funny exchange. And it says, next, corn dogs and carnage. And I think this is a really cute cover. It looks like Wolverine is getting sick, which is kind of funny because, he's Wolverine and he's, like he can't even get drunk because of his healing factor. So it's just interesting that he's feeling sick. And then you have Gambit, Rogue, of course, together. It's cute. And then Jubilee and Nightcrawler. Like I said, it's just a cute cover. So I'm excited for that issue. Obviously, we haven't seen the last of Mutina, which I'm venturing to guess she'll be in the next issue. And then I know we saw like Outlaw and Deadpool for issue 19, so that'll be interesting. So I feel like Mutina is in the next issue, and then she might, disappear for a while, but she'll probably be back at some point because I feel like she's already a popular character. Like I said, let's see. Anyway, like I said, I feel like her costume is going to be, or her outfit is going to be the like number one cosplay costume for the rest of this year. So anyway, um, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video, and it's a good refresher for Wednesday when the new issue comes out. Who knows when I will get my copy? Sometimes I honestly do go online and read it, instead of just, waiting for my copy. Sometimes I resist the temptation though and just wait to read it because I think it's more fun to actually read it and like curl up on the couch with a cup of tea while I read it and um yeah, and well, I was gonna say and Dazzler in my lap, but no, that doesn't happen. A Dazzler, is kind of like near me, like adjacent to me somewhere. But anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you will join me in the future for more videos. Until next time, bye.